Oh, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Well, to be fair, this week is probably just gentlemen because the topic is fantasy football. And I have still yet to meet a woman that is interested in fantasy football whatsoever. And listen, fellas, I know everyone has got their team and drafted, has a funny name and all that stuff. And you want to share with everyone your fantasy football roster. Let me save you some time. Look at me in the eye. No one cares about your fantasy football team. No one cares who's on your roster. If someone else is listening to you list out who your second string tight end is, they're just waiting for you to finish so they can tell you who's on their roster. Just let it go. It's fine. It's like anything you accomplished in high school. You're in your 30s now. No one cares that you were the javelin champion of the district or you won the prom queen or whatever it is. Let it go. That being said, no one cares about your individual fantasy activity, but as a whole, everyone cares about fantasy sports. And that's what I want to talk about today. There's over 60 million people that will play fantasy sports. And that's crazy because there's only 300 million people in this country. There's only 30 people at the Chiefs game last night. Okay, that was too far. It's because of the virus. They got a great fan base. All I'm saying is over a third of all the males in this country are playing fantasy sports, fantasy football in particular. And that's crazy. If you're sitting on an airplane with three dudes, odds are someone on that row plays fantasy football. And that is crazy. And listen, everybody's got their team and they're ready to go. If you're just starting into the fantasy football or you've been a while, let me give you some tips. Number one, don't be the guy that knows too much, okay? You want to know generally who's good, who's not good. But my buddy's following Matt Stafford's trainer on Instagram just to see how his weekly workouts are going, to see who to start. It's too much, okay? You also don't want to be the person that knows nothing about sport. Let me draft Emmitt Smith. Chris, he's retired. You don't want to be that guy either. You want to generally know who's good, who's a valuable pickup, track the waiver wires and the free agents, but you don't want to be doing too much or not doing enough guy. All right. That being said, talking about the money. It's gambling is what drives this. Everybody knows that. You don't want to be the guy. You know who everyone hates in their league? The wife doesn't let me gamble guy. Listen, Gary, get out of the league. Make room for other people that have money that can infiltrate into this league because we are here to win money. My wife doesn't let me. Hey, you know why your wife doesn't let you gamble? Because you lose, because you're not good at fantasy sports. Start bringing home the bag and maybe your wife will let you join a couple leagues. That's all I'm saying. Also, moral question. As a Christian, do you tithe on your fantasy football winnings? That is an honest question. Let's say you bring home $2,000. Do you tithe $200? I don't know. Comment below and let me know your thoughts. I don't know if Jesus accepts gambling money. I don't know. It is an addiction. We all know that. Here's the number. This seriously is the number. If you need to call, if you have an addiction, call them. But here's the justification for the gambling addiction. Have you ever heard this guy? The guy that says he's going to do something really good with the money if he wins, just to justify his conscience. If I win, I am taking my whole family on vacation. If I win the fantasy football league this year, we are going to build a Habitat for Humanity house. Okay, no, you're not. Just admit that you like to play and it's fun, and we'll be on board because it is fun. Fantasy football is fun. A lot of the names are hilarious. I actually don't give me credit for these. I'm a comedian, but I looked some of these up. Some of my favorite fantasy football team names, I'm going to share them with you right now. Here, if you drafted Nick Chubb, Chubby Chasers. That's a funny name. Not because listen, he's a running back and we're chasing the end zone and Nick Chubb is okay, I don't have to explain it. If I have to explain it, don't use it. Also, I liked Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's a great name. It's self-explanatory, and he started last night for the Chiefs and played unbelievable. But my third, and by far my favorite fantasy football team name, the Zeke shall inherit the earth. That's brilliant. If you don't get that joke, you should honestly stop this video right now. I'm just kidding. Listen, fantasy football, is literally driving the NFL. And we love that, because why else would you watch the Panthers and the Lions on Sunday night? You wouldn't, but only if you have the starting quarterback and you need 18 points to win that week. That's the only reason. And listen, there's a lot of things about fantasy sports that aren't good in real life. And that's the beauty of a fantasy. It's great in fantasy, but in real life, not good. The starters on that team, Saquon Barkley, great in fantasy, terrible in real life. The Giants are probably not going to win a game this year at all. Nick Chubb, great in fantasy, terrible in real life. No one wants to watch the Cleveland Browns. Good news is they're going to lose all their games, and then maybe prescription medication for depressants would Okay, I'm not making that joke. Sorry, I thought it in my head, and I was like, I should say this, but then I was like, I probably shouldn't say that joke. It's across the line. We're moving forward. Thirdly, great in fantasy, not in real life. Josh Jacobs, running back for the Las Vegas Raiders. Great in fantasy, not good in real life. And you could arguably say that about everything in the city of Las Vegas. Great in fantasy, terrible in real life. There's going to be some horrific consequences. Anyway, listen, let's get to what you need, because I know that's why you guys follow me. John, give us your fantasy football tips. And listen, there's plenty of people on the internet that will tell you who to draft and who not to draft. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to give comedic relief. And listen, it's 2020. It's not about winning and losing anymore. There's a lot of sensitive issues in this culture, and I feel like saying some people are winners and some people are losers is a little bit, it's not the avenue we want to go down. So, in an effort to become woke, I have created, this is the first this existed on the internet, I think. This is the 2020 all woke fantasy football team. Your quarterback, ladies and gentlemen, Colin Kaepernick. That's right. Listen, he's probably not on your roster anywhere, and it's probably because you probably can't, he's not even eligible to draft. And that, you need to talk to whoever runs your league and say, that's racist. First of all, if he can be on the cover of Madden or whatever video game he's on right now, he can be drafted in your league. Because clearly, if he's on the cover of Madden and better stats than a lot of active quarterbacks, listen, it's 2020. We ignore statistics. Okay, listen, we're not doing that. We got your quarterback. Who else is on your team? Marquis Brown. Think about it. With the racial sensitivities, you want to always be appropriate. Marquis Brown, by skin color, is a great draft pick. Also, Bryce Love. Great pick if you want to be inclusive to everyone. It's 2020. Love is love. Also, Kenyon Drake is a great pickup. Obviously, you want the international. What's that? He's not from Kenya. He's just like a guy that plays football, lives in America. Oh, but still, you want you don't want to be too patriotic, be all American. So Kenyon Drake is a great draft pick. Also, for the team defense, none other than, what's their name? It's the Washington Football Program, or whatever they're called, with their probably gender-neutral mascot. Okay, let's not get into this. All right, we got to always give opposing opinion. I'm going to start using that word, opposing opinions. The opposing side, the other side, if it's all about parity in 2020, is the opposite. And listen, I'm going to list you some people that honestly need to be canceled. These people should not exist on any rosters just based on their name. I'm calling this the all canceled team, and it is the, let's call it the Make America Tate Again. That's a good joke. I wrote that one myself. It's a Golden Tate reference, and okay, you get it. Anyway, that's pretty funny. If anyone has their team name, Make America Tate Again, please let me know. DM me. That's freaking hilarious. First person that needs to be canceled, James White. Really? In 2020, you're going to have a name, James White, with all the racial insensitivity that's going on in this country. That is very offensive. Secondly, the player that needs to be canceled immediately, Kareem Hunt. Wow. Especially all the controversy surrounding guns and gun violence. And you're just going to name someone Kareem Hunt and you're going to draft them to your fantasy team? That is it. You know what? I can't be friends with you if that's what you're going to do. Also, Christian McCaffrey. Oh, what about religious freedom? You're drafting a Christian? get out of my league, honestly, if you're going to draft Christian McCaffrey. He's probably going to be number one, but insensitivity to 2020, no Christian McCaffrey. Also, my buddy drafted Sonny Michel. I'm like, dude, have you heard of global warming? You know how triggering that is for you to draft Sonny Michel? That is intolerable. Get that. Sonny Michel should be off everyone's league. Also, everyone should know this. Todd Gurley. Listen, let them choose their own gender. Okay, Todd Gurley, it's very disrespectful. And also, obviously, the defense that you should never draft, that should be canceled immediately, the defense of the Dallas Cowboys. Absolutely cannot be drafted. First of all, that's America's team. And if you have an American flag in 2020, you're definitely racist. Probably. Also, there's probably someone on their team that has gone to jail for something in the last month. So that's not a team. But anyway, listen, that advice being on the table, you have your team set, you're all good, you're going to proceed throughout the season with my amazing advice, and you're going to get to the end and listen. There are now lawyers that specialize in fantasy football lawsuits. People that have completed the season and are not paying. And I saw an advertisement on TV that said, have you been owed money through fantasy football and not been paid? Call the law office of so. Can you imagine that court case? What's next on the docket? Please proceed. Yeah, my name is Chase. I'm defending my rights for the team Baby Got Dak. And I'm defending myself against the plaintiff, Turn Your Head and Golf. Like that, get out of the courtroom. Who are you bringing to the stand? Your frat buddy, Chase? He's probably got a Mountain Dew and Cheeto dust beneath his fingers. This guy's testifying on your behalf. Get out of here. Enjoy your fantasy football season, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Crist. I'll see you next week.